what I want us to do for our first pose today is scoot in front of your low silk. And I want you to find the front end. So even waving it out is fine. And for this first one, you're going to take that bottom of the silk that you found. You're taking it around the base of the skull. And then you're going to lay back, letting the base of the skull stay wrapped. Just the head is relaxed in it. This is one where further forward is going to be almost no pressure on the neck. If you want more pressure on the neck, you'll grab onto each side, lift up the hips to scoot you back, and that'll tilt your chin even more in. So you can have that control over how deep that neck stretch is. But as you get yourself situated, just let the rest of the body relax. If there's a lot of tension in the low back right now, you could just kind of grab your bolster and slide it right under your knees. That's a nice way to relieve some of that low back pressure. As we're getting our body relaxed into this first shape, the idea we're going to work with for the next little while is just simply release. We hold ourselves up so much of the time. All I want us to focus on for a little while is getting that opposite energy in our body. Let your head be heavy, let your shoulder and your body be heavy. Even the eyes are welcome to be heavy and restorative. I usually have my eyes closed. Just good slow breaths in and out. The heart rate already releasing its need to be quick. It's releasing down into that state where it's rest and digest rather than fight and flight. It's safe, calm, we're happy. So keeping the head just like this, let's start to slide in our feet about as wide as the mat in front of us. We're going to slowly let the knees tilt all the way to the left. Stay at that side for a few breaths. Continue to let this deep, slow breath flow. Knees float back up. Give them an opportunity to fall over to the other side. As knees come back up, let them stay right upright in the center. Bring your hands to touch, arms locked straight right in front of your heart. And from here, slowly let those hands in that long prayer position, let those arms start to tilt over to the left. It's okay for the right hand to be tracing a little bit down that left forearm. But let some of the upper body twist just a little bit over to left. This gives the neck just a gentle turn. Lifting the arms back up. Let those hands fall over to the right, enough that the neck is in a gentle turn. Shoulders turning, neck pretty much staying. Hands back up. Tilt one more time to left with the hands. It's like the chin gets drawn close to that right shoulder. And back up. Over to the left. Good. Coming back up. Have each hand grab its respective side of the fabric. We're going to keep the chin tucked into the chest as we slowly lift the back up. Let the fabric fall down to about the armpit area. And then hands scoop behind the back of the head. You can play with scooting the glutes slightly forward, slightly backward. Find a comfortable spot that feels like the fabric's pulling against you just right. With the hands supporting the head, start to let the heart rise up. Just falling open and backwards just a little bit. Allow yourself to take a lateral lean. So we're sliding the right elbow closer to the right hip. Punching through that side for a moment. Pull that left side long. And return all the way backwards. Left elbow comes closer to left hip through the side. And back. Let the knees fall to left. Up. Knees fall to right. Up. And what we're going to do here is scoop the fabric to be a bit further down, closer to the hip area, the back side of the front line. If that back bend is a little bit too intense, using your bolster behind you will make that plane more level. If it feels good to just take that nice arch up and back, that's perfectly fine just to be supported right there. Knees bent will be a much more gentle stretch. Straightening the legs will be much more of a back bend. So you choose how deep to take it. I like to make sure it's across the skeleton of my hips rather than in the fleshy love handles. Makes it just a little bit more comfortable to stay for some degree of time. You can feel if you have hip tightness. Sometimes it's nice to just let the hips rock a little bit left and right. You'd have to have your feet in a little closer for that. We're just sliding the heels long for that huge arch through the spine. Feel this heart space in a vulnerable spot. Another huge breath, let it flow in and out. Slowly start to walk the feet closer in. Perhaps hands come up to each side of the fabric to help you with this next transition. We're going to take one ankle at a time to hook all the way around, and then the other. Kind of setting up a cobbler's pose shape in the legs, and then hands can release back down. Feel how this is the inverse in the spine. Rather than arching, the spine now gets to have a slightly rounded shape. I personally love just rocking my hips left and right. Know here that your body is receiving benefits of the inversion, even though we always think inversions have to be so much more intense than this. This is it. The legs getting to drain their lymph, their extra blood. The blood becoming oxygen rich at the heart, the throat, the head. Leaving the left ankle as it is. Let's come back to stillness with the hips. And then allow right leg to straighten out. Picking out directly to the side. Slowly rotate through the hip in its femur socket until you're pointing toes to the mirror, and then bend the knee. Drop the foot to the ground. This is enough for the hips. Stay. If you want more, perhaps take some time sliding the foot even longer away. Creating a nice psoas stretch for right front of hip. This is a space where you could even add in a quad stretch, bending the right knee, sliding the right foot closer to the glutes, and having one or both hands come in contact with that foot. The knee just dropping open with gravity. Quad stretches too much, return partially or all the way back out. Take 3 more breaths for this half. Slowly reversing the motion. Right leg straightens back out. It lifts up. Kick it open in its socket. Wrapping right foot around. Let the left have that slow journey. Kicking out. To trace back. Lowering heel down. You can stay with bent knee. You can slide the heel long. Or if you know you love the quad stretch, the knee just passively falling open, slide the foot closer. Whether or not you're grabbing on is up to you. Little areas in your body that are receiving that energy of release. Are there any areas resisting? If nothing more than the breath, can we release a little deeper? Three more delicious breaths. Left leg takes its slow journey to return to the rack. Perhaps rocking the hips a few more times once you're wrapped. Now as hands reach up, grab the little handle of fabric by your inner knee. Hips finish their rocking. As we unwind one leg at a time, you're going to straighten the leg, placing the leg just on the inside of the fabric. So when right leg is placed, it's safe to unwind the left. And then in one smooth motion, tuck your tailbone. Let the fabric slip off the hips and down to the knees. Feel that release in the back. One foot at a time, slip the fabric down to the ankles, straighten the legs back out. And again, if it feels nice, let the legs take a rocking motion. To stillness, right knee comes into the chest. Hands clasp around that knee. Give it a moment to hug it in. Right hand wraps around that knee. Try to keep the left hip on the ground. Maybe even left hand on the hip to remind it. And then this right knee starts to trace open, nice and wide to the right. The knee comes back up over heart. Left hand grabs on. Allow the knee to fall over to the left. This time you are allowed to lift the right hip. The right shoulder connected with the earth. Feel that low back have a gentle twist. Turning right hip to floor. Slide the right foot into the fabric. Once it's there, left knee comes in, give it a hug. Right hand goes to right hip, reminding that to stay grounded. Left hand invites the left knee open. The knee comes back up. Right hand grabs on. Tilts the knee all the way over to the right, any degree that feels good. Breath in. And out. Turn hips to the floor. Both feet step out to the floor. Let the knees fall over to one side, a nice fetal position. Give it a couple of breaths. That next exhale finishes. Press your hand into the ground to help the spine rise up. We're in a seated place. We'll be sitting just behind the fabric. Take the bottoms of feet together in cobbler's pose. We're going to grip onto the fabric about as wide as shoulders. Don't feel like there's any pressure to go to any shape, but slowly let's just let the spine tilt forward. Feeling this sense of release as the muscles of the back open up little by little. Starts to feel nice for the back to take slow swaying motions left and right. That would be absolutely appropriate. Back to the center for 3 breaths. Find that rising up is as easy as pushing hands down into the fabric. From here, leave the left foot tucked in, the right leg opens up to the side. If the grip is getting tired, you could slip hands to prayer position at this point. If you prefer the wider grip, that's fine as well. Take another chance to lean forward and feel how the support of the fabric helps the spine to stay a little bit straighter. Shooting a little bit more forward like an arrow. My hands down helps us return the spine up. Switch the legs out and slide back forward. Inhale. Exhale, press the hands into the fabric to help through the return journey. And from here, we shift ourselves to be in front of the fabric. We're going to find the front end. Wave it out. Nothing doubled over. Make sure you're scooted enough forward that you have that chance to wave. Scooting to be in front of it with the thumbs hooked. We'll take about half the fabric in our hands. Then we scoot back, plant the feet, press the glutes just into that end. So rather than spreading it up thighs, leave it at the glutes for now. Whenever you're here, sooner or later, we're going to allow right leg to straighten out. This other knee can kind of swivel open to the side in a way that feels useful. And then just lean over that right straight leg. As comfortable and as deep as your body wants. Doesn't have to be much. Rising back up, leave this bent left knee. The right ankle comes up onto that left thigh, a figure 4 stretch. So you can have control over how deep this is by how far forward you scoot that left leg. Further forward is less intense. Scooted deeper in makes it more intense for this right hip. Allow hands or forearms to be on the leg. Just take an easy forward leaning position. More breath in and out. Rest the right foot on the ground. Slide the left leg out. Take a couple of breaths to lean forward. You can support hands on ground, on this other leg, whatever is useful. Lifting spine up, left ankle, figure four. Again, you have control based on how straight or how bent the right leg is. Also, how much we lean forward versus sitting more up. Feel those back muscles release. We're here another 3 breaths. The spine rises up. Drop this foot to floor. Continue to slip the fabric all the way down the sides. Even the feet step inside, extending length out. Lay even the head back, whole body stretching really long. After those forward folds, it feels nice to have length through the spine. So as arms extend to that back wall, slowly let the shoulders wiggle to the right. And slowly shoulders to the left. Be slow and easy, opening up each of the side bodies. Turn to the center. As the arms drop down to the center, start to take the right leg up to side. For a couple of breaths, grab hands onto the calf or ankle. Try to pull that in for a brief hamstring moment. And hook this right heel onto the back left side of the fabric. Slide the shin in. We're here opening up that right hip nicely. So send some good slow breaths into it. Hips are oftentimes one of those notoriously tight spots. They don't like to release. But for all these hip openers we've done gradually, maybe there's a little bit more space in them than when we got started. Another huge inhale. Nice exhale. And one more breath for this half. Leg breathes its way up to sky. And we drop right leg down. Left traveling up. Grab onto it briefly. Look the heel over, back right, slide the shin in. One more breath in. And exhale to drop this leg down. Taking a fetal position, our right hip is going to rotate down. Our left hip stacks up on top of it. Straightening the arms to the back wall for a moment. Feel the spine arch back. And then bending elbows, bending knees, bending at the waist, curl into a tight little ball, fetal position. So nice and slow like that 2 more times, stretching out. Slow exhale to curl in. One more time, arching out. And curl in. As we lengthen back out, grab onto each of the sides of fabric so you can rotate the other hip to the up. Once you're there, create the long straight line, start to arch backward, inhale. Long, slow exhale to curl into fetal. Another 2 breaths. Good. After the last one, return to your back. Grab onto the fabric left and right. Start to sit up, kicking feet off the front. We're going to bunch up the fabric on our right half. And we've got both hands gripped on. Lock the arms straight. Allow right leg to swing up and over. Allow the feet to fall nice and wide open, hands gently pressing the knees wide. Lifting up the fabric in front of you. We'll place the left ankle up. The right foot just goes wherever it's comfortable on the ground. This is still tight for the hip. Use arm strength to lock the leg out. Or conversely, if you're at that point, you'd like to invite this hip a bit deeper. Maybe hug around the shin. Invite the heart closer inward. Arch of this left foot takes over the gathered fabric. Allow the leg to straighten any degree upward. Does not have to be locked straight. But feel some length happening on the backside of the leg. One more breath. The nice exhale, that left foot softly drops down to ground. Right ankle comes up. Remember that you're welcome to lock the arms straight or hug the heart in. And the arch of the right foot onto the fabric. Straightening up any degree. Last inhale. Last exhale. Slip this right foot out to the same side that left leg is. Allow hips to find their way back in the center. Let's settle back into our Shavasana shape. Sometimes it's nice to leave the feet dangling if the low back needs that extra comfort, or some days I'll take it inside. So it's up to you. Find the arms in a comfortable position, maybe an X over the heart, maybe elbows by the ears, dangling out the back end, or tucked under the head. Find a way that you can be comfortable for the next couple of minutes. As we feel our body finding this whole different level of release. Not just of the physical body, but release of the mind. Not needing to be quite so much in the attitude of doing, so much as being. Finding companionship with our our very breath. Allowing the inhales and exhales to deepen. Start to stretch the arms to the back wall, maybe taking a couple of little wiggles left and right. We're preparing to come eventually out of the fabric. We're going to take one last little back bend. Similar to before, if your back doesn't want to arch very much, you're welcome to slide the bolster right up behind you. But for this one, the legs can be in the fabric or the feet can be dangling out. It's your preference. What we're slowly going to do is sit up, allow the head and maybe the shoulders, maybe even the waist to come free of the fabric. Nice heart opener, just arched shape. We're here. We're checking in if there's any energies in our heart, any energies at all in our system that are ready to be released. Let's take 5 slow breaths right here. You eventually come to that 5th breath. You can either grab onto fabric to start sitting up inside, or slide the heels into the fabric and lift up the hips to completely come out the back end. Either way, let's take an easy grip of the fabric, helping us to sit all the way up. Hands together at the heart. Once we're up, we fill with this final Om of this class. We feel that Om helping us to support that release. If there's something in our life that's willing to be released here, let's take a deep inhale together now. May we be filled with light, happiness, and peace. Namaste.